Okay, Namaste. We will start with our Santi Mantra. Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namah Harihi Om. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavadhe Tamastu Ma Vishavahe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So the last discussion, when we finished our topic, before the one before we had the discussion with the Western philosophy. Before that, we were talking about japa, about the Ajatavada, what is called as Alata Shanti, all those things, concepts we discussed. So we are now in the eve of Deepavali. So Deepavali is usually on Deepavali, on Amavasya, on Monday, the next day to Deepa Naraka Chaturdashi. We may not have the next class on Monday, we will have the following Monday. So the Deepavali is about Asatoma Satkamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritangamaya. Right? So Deepavali is all about that. It's all about leading us from ignorance to jnana, from darkness to light. It's basically from ignorance to jnana, to the Atma Swarupa, or the reality of our own self as the self-effulgent conscious truth, the truth of all existence. Asat Toma Satgamaya. This truth of all existence is the Sat, the existential basis, the unconditioned absolute on which all the phenomena, from which all the phenomena arises, in which all the experience arises, the experience is sustained, and the experience of this world goes back in the end. Mrityorma Amritangamaya. By the knowledge of that truth, of the self, of ourselves, of our true nature, of this Atma, Atma Swarupa, one goes beyond the cycle of becoming, which is represented mainly in the cycle of the birth and death. So the major representation of becoming, though the disease of becoming, the transmigration or the movement of becoming from finite to finite, the movement of struggle, the movement in struggle, though we experience it in every day in so many ways, the gist of that is the cycle of birth and death, Janma, Mrityu. So, Mrityorma Amritangamaya, may I attain that which is not affected by the cycle of birth and death. That's how it is understood in Vedanta. It can be understood as, attaining some Vaikuntha, Brahmaloka, etc. According to the different schools they follow. But the essential Vedantic truth, Mrityorma Amritangamaya, is by realizing the Sat, by realizing the Jyoti, the Swayam Prakasha Jyoti. Right? So, Asatoma Satgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma. So, we are going to discuss today the basic understanding of this and what it really takes, even though we have the information. There is enough Vedanta classes going on, there is enough information available. There's a lot of spiritual talk going on. We have listened a lot. We are also doing a lot of practices. But somehow, this goal of why we are doing all this, it gets clouded time to time in so many ways. So we will discuss how to overcome the major factors that prevent us from realizing the absolute. So before we go into that, we can take a cue from the question that we are supposed to discuss. One of the participants asked, uh, what is the relationship between the absolute and the relative? Now, there are so many ways in which scholars have dealt with that, philosophers have dealt with that, and also our rishis, our Vedanta Shastra is dealing with that. What we experience, this everyday experience that we have right now, based on our senses, thinking, conditioning, the sense of self, the individuality we have in association with the personality, this experience of life that we have, it arose at some point from logically when we go back from based on our memory, we say that it rises at some point, and every day when we wake up, this experience comes back. Then we go into sleep. Then there is this dream, we experience dream. And then there is a dreamless sleep about which we don't know what it is. So we somebody asks us, we say, I slept well. And then when we wake up again, we are back to this experience. So in deep sleep, this experience does not exist. In dream, there is a different experience. That dream experience comes to an end when we come to this waking state experience. But there is this one factor of I that is sustaining in all these three periods of time. I am awake, I am in the dream, I am in the sleep because there is an impression that I slept well. If you really think about from the when you wake up, you don't feel like you have not been. If you feel that intuitively, very carefully, if you notice that feeling of at the moment of having woken up, and when you try to see what happened before this, you say, I slept. I did not know anything. There is a very kind of an intuitive feeling that you have been. You did not go anywhere. You are there. Right. And also, they say that because of the memory, we see that, I'm back in the body and all that. My experience is there. Now I'm back to the same experience which I had. I wake up the same body with the same clothes with which I slept. So I was somewhere, just I was unconscious. We say all that. But this you don't say that, I was not there, now I am new. No, there is a continuity. And this sense of continuous self, even in science, when they say it is, it is only an illusion created by the brain, they are only telling it is probably, there is no conclusive knowledge. So here in this is exactly where we need Shraddha in the Shastra, where until we arrive at that experience that is beyond the mind, experience of the self that is beyond the mind in samadhi, until we arrive at that experience, we need a kind of a faith pending discovery, which is called Shraddha. We discussed this in detail when we discussed the concept of Shraddha in the Sadhana Chatushtaya and all that. So, this self, in our experience, this individuality and this experience that we have, relative experience, here let us call it as the relative self. Okay? Even here, when we say there is a more fundamental I when compared to my personality that I exhibit in different situations, the roles that I play, this fundamental I take upon myself different roles. In front of my daughter, I am dad. In front of my wife, I am husband. In front of my mother, I am child. In front of my father, I am a son. In front of my guru, I am a sishya. In front of my subordinates, I am a boss. In front of my boss, I am a subordinate. It goes on. So, depending upon the context, the relationship of this body mind complex to that given context, I assume a role. Based on the dharma of the context, I assume a role. Now, across all my roles, I exist. I am the common factor across all my roles. Similarly, I am the common factor across all states of consciousness, waking, dream, and sleep. So, how in the waking state, all my relative personalities are based on my fundamental sense of self I am. Me, my basic fundamental individuality is the basis on which all my personalities are existing. All my personalities rise and fall back right from the I, my individuality. They exist for some time. Once the role is over, they fall back, they resolve back into the individuality. Again, when the next context presents itself, my personality comes up and goes sustained for during the time of that situation. And once the situation is over, it goes back. When the next situation comes, another personality comes. So it constantly, all these different personalities rise and fall, rise and fall. They come from that individuality. They are sustained in the individuality. They go back to the individuality. So we can say the absolute individuality, the absolute I in the waking state, the functional I, there is an absolute unconditioned I am on which all the conditioned I appears. So we can say, so what is the relationship between these relative roles and the fundamental I? So the fundamental I is the platform, is the adhisthana in which all the personalities come and go. Just like how in a surface of water, different kinds of a small wave, a big wave, in the wave, some foam, in the foam, a bubble, water bubble. So all this comes in the surface of water, on the surface of water. Similarly, on this unconditioned sense of self, all the personalities rise and fall. So what is the relationship between the personalities and this absolute individuality? We can, for this context, we can call it like that: absolute individuality and relative personalities, right? Just a simple analysis based on experience. I'm not going into any big tarka or any shastra or something. And just a simple common sense logic based on our everyday experience, right? Similarly, all the phenomena that are, all the things that arise, all the relative, the what we call as the sense objects, the objects of the five senses or the panchabhutas, what we call it, the nature, everything that all that is visible, all the limited, all the things that are conditioned by space and time arise from something. They are sustained in something, and then they go back into something, right? So in this context, it's very interesting. I remember a quote from Niels Bohr. So he said, all the things, Niels Bohr, that scientist who was one of the pioneers in quantum physics. So all the things that we consider as real are made of things that we cannot claim to be real, that are apparently unreal. So all the unreal thing is giving rise to the feeling of reality. So what we call as reality is actually is not real, because that which comes out of unreal cannot be real. That which comes out of real can be unreal because it can be just an appearance and then it can go back into the reality. But that which comes out of unreal cannot be real. So it's only an appearance. So this gives me when I read about that, it gave me a very surprising. I remembered what they say as Maya. What we discussed in the previous session said Maya is the, when we talked about Parashakti, about Navaratri and all that. So Maya is the Devi is the material cause. No? Maya is the material cause of the universe. So things are made of something that whatever we see as real is made of things that are not real, right? So things that are not real is, they say, is quantum energy, the dual nature, whatever appears as a wave and particle. There is something that appears as particle. There is something that appears as waves. These are all just energy dynamics, they say, right? So different patterns of vibration. So in everything is understood as different patterns of vibration. So what is it that is vibrating? What is it that is vibrating? The Chit Shakti, right? So Shastra tells us, the Vedanta, the Shastra tells us, and all the enlightened masters, they tell us that it is the Chit Shakti. The Chit Shakti, in its different patterns of vibration, appears as the world. Right? So Maya is the material cause. Just I remember because I happened to come across this quote of Niels Bohr, and then I remembered, this is what we discussed in the last class. So I just wanted to share it with you. Sorry. So the relationship between the apparent appearing this world of appearances and its adhishtanam mithya jagat adhishtanaye namaha they say. So this mithya jagat, the adhishtanam of this, the relationship between these things and the source of all things, you can compare that to the relationship between all our personalities and the fundamental individuality, the sense of self that shines in every personality, right? So similarly, it is that one reality that shines through everything, whatever we see. It's a very simple common sense level. So the how it is one that appears as the subject and object, all that we go, the entire Vedanta Shastra is meant for that. So we are not going into that. So there are different levels of understanding. There is a drishti srishti. If our Vairagya is not good enough, they say you should start with, Ishvara created the world, the Panchabhutas and all that. Then he entered the head and became a jiva, and then the jiva is shining through the body and the mind, all that. Or there is this is Srishti Drishti Vada. Then there is Drishti Srishti. It is because I am here, the world, because I have my ignorance, because of my I am me perceiving, because of me going out through the senses, there is world. Actually, there is no world. Then there is one more level which is Ajatavada. So this we discussed. The Ajatavada, the concept of Alada Shanti, all that. So there is enough, there are enough discussions and there is enough lectures on all this. It's available everywhere and there are so many acharyas are teaching that. But here, the reason for us to discuss this, why it is important to understand this, that whatever is experienced, the point of this is whatever is experienced, both in the waking and dream and in deep sleep, what is experienced is only an appearance. So currently in this experience, whatever you are hearing now, you are seeing the screen, my image, you are listening, and then there is the room around you. So all this sensory input is only an appearance. Then you may say, what about me? You as the listener of this experience, you as the experiencer of this experience is also an appearance. So there is a you before this experience started. There is the same you are here now, and when this experience ends, you are going to be there. So this you is not conditioned by this you appear, you are appearing within this experience, right? But you are not defined by this experience. The same logic we can extend to every experience in life. So when we extend the same logic to every experience in life, when we really look at that, when we really imbibe this understanding, we can stop defining ourselves based on us being a specific experiencer. Now, this is very abstract. I'll give an example. I am. Who are you? Somebody asks you, you will introduce yourself based on one of the roles that you play. Or, I suppose if you're watching a match, you may say, I am a fan of this team. And you experience that, right? So your sense of self, our sense of self, the self definition is getting added layer by layer. We are adding to it. The sense of self definition that we have, we are adding to that sense of self definition layers and layers based on our experiences, different experiences that we have. How that is, we are defining ourselves in relationship with in different kinds of experiences. I am a father. I am a so and so's partner or a husband. I am so and so's son. I am somebody who likes coffee or tea. I am a patriot. I am an Indian. I am a Hindu or whatever. Like this, different things. These are very big definition. Then there are some situational things. I prefer this, I don't prefer that. So, depending on the context, we express one of our self definitions. Now, we are going through this process of different experiences without viveka. When we go through these different experiences without viveka, in the sense, without the vision or without losing sight, without the awareness of who I am beyond all these experiences. When we go through different experiences in a state of aviveka or ignorance or lack of discrimination, in an indiscriminatory way, we just keep on going, what happens? Every experience makes an impression, they say, right? Vasana, samskara. What is this impression? It is not some kind of a, you don't have to, it is not some kind of a particle sticking to your soul. There are some, I heard somebody was trying to tell like that. It's not some kind of particle sticking to your soul in the heart, and then somebody does healing of your, no, soul healing and all that. Very interesting. It is not some kind of a particle. It is the impression created by experience is the tendency or idea about myself superimposed over the undifferentiated sense of ego, what is called chidabhasa, or the ankara, the principle of I that is functioning in the intellect. How the sense of I is created in the intellect. Yoga Sutra talks about it. It's called asmita, the power of awareness and the power of cognition taken as one. It's a very, very technical definition. So when we actually, all this looks like very abstract, but when you really sit and meditate, and when we practice specific kinds of meditation, we can actually experience it. We can see it happening in real time. In real time, you can see how you are assuming an identity. When we slow down the mind enough, right? And when we see how we go into an experience and come out of an experience, we can see how the sense of relative self is created. We can see when a person comes, you can see you can even experiment, do it like a meditation. You can take something sweet or something that you like to eat, and then something that you really don't like to eat. Something like that. Something that you really like and something that you absolutely don't like. Ask somebody to stand in front of you or sit in front of you. So you will close your eyes, and when you open your eyes, they have to keep in front of you what you like. Then you close your eyes. Then when you open your eyes, they have to keep in front of you what you don't like. And they can do that randomly. You will not know what is coming next, right? So when it comes, you will see how first there is an awareness of that object, and then there is processing of your relationship with the object. So the way you relate to the object comes up, and then you are owning up that vritti of like or dislike, and then through that vritti or that mode of the mind of I like it, I don't like it, that one of the modes, you pick it up, and through that you relate to the object. That's what we do with different people. So it's called raga dvesha. I like, I don't like, right? So all life experiences, we go through that. We go through only as a bhokta. So the key word here is bhokta. Me as the enjoyer in relationship. So me in relationship with an object. It is possible to be simply aware of an object without having a relationship with it. We can suspend the ahankara process of involving in that experience, right? So then what happens? When you see this process happening again and again, there is a kind of a viveka which wakes up in us, in our mind, in our buddhi, a kind of a discrimination wakes up, where we are able to experience ourselves in a dimension where we are not conditioned as an experiencer. We are aware of ourselves in a way where we are not conditioned based on particular experiences or a particular type of experiencer, as a liker of something or a disliker of something, as a enjoyer of something, as a participant in an experience. I learn to see myself beyond being a subject of an experience. How I become a subject of an experience, that I can see the process happening, right? So the when is this possible? When is this viveka possible? It is possible when I don't get very involved in the experience, where I am I am able to shift my sense of importance. My sense of importance shifts from having that experience or getting rid of that experience. If it is an unpleasant experience, I want to get rid of it. If it is a pleasant experience, I want to have it. I want to prolong it. So, when I'm not very keen on the nature of experience, I'm not very keen in the relationship with that object of experience, in that field of experience. I'm not keen on how the field is, but I'm I'm very keen about seeing myself as unconditioned by the field. So when I'm able to experience myself in a way where I'm learning to give importance, more importance I give to me not being conditioned by the field of experience, rather than being very keen about what kind of experience should I have. So if we actually look at our life, all the effort that we make, material or spiritual, be it material or spiritual, every effort that we make is to arrive at an experience, an external experience, a religious experience, a worldly experience based on the senses, external or internal, a state of mind. Let us say somebody who is a drunkard wants to drink and go into some kind of a drunkenness. He wants a certain internal experience. So similarly, I sit and meditate. I want to arrive at a certain state of mind. Then after that, we come out and say, oh, today I had a great meditation. I had such a nice experience. I was absorbed so much. No, I had such a great feeling. I was experiencing ecstasy, or I was seeing some colors. I heard this sound, all this we say, right? And we try, one day somehow, some prana goes in a nice way, and then you are having a very pleasant experience during your japa or dhyana. The next day, that memory is there. It's a nice experience. So you want to repeat that. So you try to arrive at that. So that comes because I am giving more importance to the nature of experience. But if I am to move from the conditioned to the unconditioned, if I am to move from tamas to jyoti, if I am to move from asat to sat, this is possible only when I see that no matter the nature of the experience, every experience is equally just an appearance. Just an appearance in the sense it is not true. It does not add anything to me. No experience, however demonic or however human or however divine, no matter the nature of the experience does not add anything to me. Me as the pure consciousness, me in my swarupa, in my true nature, an experience does not add to me. All that it does, if at all it adds, it only adds more trouble. It only adds an extra conditioning over my already free self, which is whatever that experience, the impression that is added on me as an experience, it is only creating more cloud over my self-awareness in terms of a wrong self-definition that is based on particular experiences. Every experience where I am involved puts one more layer of darkness, reinforces the darkness through a impression where I tend to define myself through that experience, where the self-forgetfulness is reinforced, and uh, where the possibility of me experiencing myself within the conditioned zone increases next time, where the vasana and samskara pushes me into this field of experience, pushes me into the samsara, pushes me into the world of limitation again and again. It keeps me trapped. So, if at all an experience contributes something to me, an experience can only contribute more bondage. No experience can contribute in any way to free myself, no matter what is the experience. So I do not hanker after any kind of experience. So when I understand this, the whole world of experiences does not add anything to me. When I clearly see that. So how I can see that is I don't have to analyze, I don't have to go through all the experiences of life. I have to very clearly watch what are the specific kind of experiences I am very keen after, uh, I'm very particular about certain things. Each one of us, we have to just watch what are the things that really gets to us, where we are very particular about. We may have wonderful justifications for it. It may be totally justified. It is totally your right. Nobody is denying that. It's not about a question of right in the sense this is my right, I deserve it or not deserve it. It's not about that. Again, we should not get caught into that ego trap. It is not about whether you deserve or not, whether it is right or wrong. No. It is about, are you keen about an experience or not? So when it comes to the concept of bondage and liberation, the only question we have to ask is how keen I am about an experience. So am I very keen about this? Then I am stuck with that. Because of that, I am stuck in the world of experience. Because of that, I am in samsara. Right. So I have to see the falseness or the limitation of it. No matter how appropriate or how deserving that experience is, how nice or not nice, whatever it is, justice, injustice, no matter what it is, if I am able to see that I am very keen on this experience, immediately for a jignasu, for one who is the seeker of the self-knowledge, it sends an alert. It's like like an antivirus alert. Immediately that alert, oh, I'm very keen on that. So this ego movement, this individuality, this movement, this relationship with the field of experience seems to be very strong, which means this vasana is very strong. Right? So immediately I see how I am, what is making me so keen about that thing. It could be anything. It could be a certain kind of a food, or it could be some relationship. It could be absolutely anything. It should be an identity. It could be a certain, social status, all kinds of things. What they say as, all these is classified under three categories: loka vasana, vishaya vasana, shastra vasana. They say. Now, it could be a certain kind of a disposition, an attitude, and knowledge. Now, it is about a very positive self-definition that comes from which we looks for recognition. It comes in so many ways. So when we observe ourselves very clearly, how my sense of self asserts, how I experience a very sense of kind of a keenness in certain situations, immediately my antivirus alert should go up. It will say, oh, and the self-observation chart. You have to start observing how you get involved in that, how the self-definition, it's in real-time observation, it is self-observation. You can write a journal, think about it, talk about it, and also observe it. And the combination of all these things, when we say that, it becomes immediately supremely important for me to understand how I am feeling compelled to be in this way. Now, how I am made to be in this way, how I am becoming, becoming this keen individual for that situation, how this keenness and this involvement arises in me. So it becomes very important to understand how this happens. And when we have that keenness to understand this whole phenomena, then the viveka awakens within that ego circuit. No, I will call it as the ego circuit. The viveka or the discriminatory awareness awakens within that ego circuit. Then you see the mistake, error that you are making, because there is already basic knowledge. There is already the basic knowledge that you are the supreme unconditioned self. That's from the Shastra, from the teacher, from the contemplations. You have that. So that starts kicking in. And then that loosens up. So you are not keen about that experience anymore. So, or first we have to say the object of the experience, the external situation has to be dismissed. The various factors, the other than me, the various factors, situational factors, the sensory factors, the different things, people, whatever it may be, whatever is there that invokes this interest from me, all those objects and that situation, the falseness or the limitation of that has to be seen. The uselessness of that for the purpose of experiencing my true nature has to be seen. Then, based on that, then I can observe how my habitual error of trying to get involved comes, right? And then, when the viveka awakens inside that, the knowledge starts kicking in. Slowly, we can see that in time, when we do it repeatedly, the next time when we are in the same situation, that situation will not invoke the same level of keenness inside. If then after a year or two of contemplative living, when I look back, I would see, oh, 2 years back I was so crazy for that. Now, it just okay, I appreciate it, but I don't. The later it will not, that even that appreciation will be like, it will be the same. What they say, for a person of true vairagya, a ball of gold and a clod of stone both are same. In the sense, doesn't mean that he doesn't know this is gold and this is stone, the market value, not that. It is about the level of personal involvement that the object invokes in me. The stone and a blob of gold both will invoke the same kind of involvement, or both will equally be, I will be indifferent to both equally. A male or a female, somebody beautiful, somebody not beautiful. The involvement that it will invoke from me will be the same. This is called samadarshinaha. Samadarshinaha means how I am not compelled to involve in a field of experience. A field of experience will not push me in the beginning stages. It will not push me beyond a point. If it pulls me in beyond the level, my antivirus will go up, my viveka alert will go up, and then my inquiry will start. And then slowly the discrimination will kick in, observation will kick in, the discrimination will kick in, and then we are dismantling that circuit. So this is how we do. This is called nididhyasana. Constantly we keep applying. It's called viveka kyater aviplavahano payaha. There is a Yoga Sutra. It says incessant application of viveka kyati will remove the force of ignorance that is asserting in us. So what this is done is the lesser and lesser we are involved in the field of experiences, the more we are available for our true self. The more we will be able to own up the truth of ourselves when we are taught. So the whole process of yoga is nothing but learning to become less and less involved in the field of experiences, based on the understanding that all experience is only appearance, it's not true. The technical word in the Shastra is called tuchya buddhi, they say. Tuchya buddhi means it's nothing, it's no matter the experience, no matter what is marketed to me, I'm immediately able to see it's just nothing, it's just an appearance. It has no truth and it cannot contribute to me in any way. So that is the idea. So it's called as Tat Param Purushakyater Gunavaya Krishnam comes in Yoga Sutra. The Vairagya is highest, where because you know the nature of the Purusha, you know the infiniteness of yourself, you are not interested in anything that is even in there. It is because of Yoga Darshana, it talks about Prakriti Purusha. But we can extrapolate it here even in Vedanta. So the field of experience has nothing to contribute because I am the completeness from which everything arises, in which everything is sustained, into which everything goes back. So I am the Sat, I am the Jyoti. So Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya means slowly dismantling the mindless, slowly dismantling the habitual errors which reinforce my conditioned experience of self that keeps me bound in the field of experience. This is tamas. Tamas is basically ignorance, not knowing myself as I am and thinking of myself based on different structures which I am not. Thinking of myself in ways that is acquired, the erroneous, the wrong knowledge about myself, I have superimposed on my true nature. So that keeps me mechanically reacting and involving in everything. So that is the tamas, based on my likes and dislikes, and it's a kind of sleepiness. Every time when I enjoy something, it's a kind of sleep. How I sleep, I forget everything and sleep. So when I am involved in an enjoyment, I'm actually sleeping. So every time I'm arrive at an object-based sukha, vishaya sukha, I am going into a certain, my buddhi goes into a certain kind of a sleep. So I'm constantly coming back into the sleep. So this kind of a laya is called as, this kind of a sleepy kind of a laya, it's a the basic uh, zone of forgetfulness. It is the basic level of the domain or the dimension of forgetfulness, which is the base, the foundation on which this whole world of experience is based. So in fact, Sri Ramana Maharshi used to say that your deep sleep is more real than waking state. Waking state is more illusory than deep sleep. It's a very, very interesting statement. So when we study Shastra, we will understand how it is. So when I have this basic understanding, this is called Nastya Akrita Kritena, that me, who I am the Sat, I cannot attain myself through any experience. No experience adds anything to me. No experience takes away anything from me. So, and because of this, I am not keen on any experience. When I have that, I am totally available to investigate the nature of experience as it happens. I am available. So this is the complete shift in the buddhi. It's called jignasu. The keenness to understand the truth of the moment. So that is a different orientation of the buddhi. It's a kind of a superior kind of an intelligence. It is not the usual intelligence. What generally the intelligence that we know is, we like something and we are clever enough. We apply all the knowledge that we have, the skill sets that we have to get what we want. And we apply all the knowledge and skill set we have to get rid of what we don't want. If we actually look at all the intelligent people or what problem solving, right? So all this intelligence is within the field of experience, but it is not probing into the reality of the experience. So that is a different kind of intelligence. An intelligence that is not trying to arrive at something in time, but it is an intelligence that awakens to the reality of this moment. So that is called Jyoti. In this context, we can call it as Viveka. Viveka Khyati. Now, he calls it as Jnana Deepti. The Yoga Sutra, the word used is called the flame of illumination, the illuminating flame of Viveka. He compares the Viveka Khyati to a flame, like to a lamp, the flame of a lamp. Like that, it becomes brighter and brighter. The Viveka Khyati becomes brighter and brighter. How? Yoganga Anushtana Asuddhikshaye, by the practice of the different limbs of yoga, as the impurities are cleared. Impurities are cleared means the impressions, the wrong impressions about myself that manifest as strong tendencies to get involved in the field of experiences. The strength of these impressions starts going down, becoming less and less. Klesha tanukaranatascha, they say. It becomes lesser and less powerful, and eventually the mind clears up. So as the different tendencies and impressions become less powerful, the ability to be available for understanding the reality of this moment, that intelligence that is keen enough to understand the reality of this moment, right? That intelligence starts becoming brighter and brighter. That is Jnana Deepti. Viveka means discriminating between what is real and what is not real, between the field and the experiencer of the field and the witness, between me, the real me, and the fake me that comes and goes. The intelligence that lights up the true reality of things, and a world of appearance is able to be seen as a world of appearance. I don't superimpose permanence on what is temporary. I don't superimpose purity on what is impure. I don't superimpose happiness on what is fundamentally a struggle. So, like that, I superimpose an idea upon the field of experience, and based on my conditioning about myself in relation to the field of experience, I'm constantly superimposing that. So that superimposition process stops. So that I see the error. I am awakened to the error of how I am superimposing on the given moment, how I am constantly pushing myself to an imaginary target, and then it keeps me going on in the field of struggle, right? So I'm able to awaken to this process. This awakening is Viveka. This is Jnana, right? So this happens by just two things. The world of experience is unreal, no matter what is the experience. And this world of experience cannot contribute anything to me in the real way. The real me does not gain anything from any experience. When I really understand this and try to remember this in every experience, both pleasant experience and unpleasant experience. In an unpleasant experience, I don't lose anything. In a pleasant experience, I don't gain anything. In a very rewarding experience, actually, I'm not gaining anything from any reward, and I am not diminished by any punishment. So when I see in this world of duality, this Dvandva, they say, when I'm constantly remembering this truth, that I don't belong to the field of experience, and the field of experience is just fake, just like my dream. When I remember this in every experience, that unconscious tendency to be involved in things starts coming down. As it comes down, I am more and more available to understand the reality of how I am connected. What makes me connected to that? I'm able to see very keenly become aware of the falseness of my relative world of existence, and that makes me more and more available for the truth. That being available for the truth, when I'm taught properly by the right teacher, immediately makes me live the reality of my true nature. So that is what is fundamentally asatoma satgamay, tamasoma jyotirgamay. So here we are, because of the importance of Viveka, and because Deepavali is about lighting lamp and Viveka is the inner lamp, so let us light the inner lamp of Viveka this Deepavali, Tamasoma Jyotirgamay. Okay. So with this, I will finish this discourse and leave the floor for some questions after the chanting. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat. Yeah. Any questions?
Namaste, sir.
Yes, namaste.
Sir, I have two questions. One is what about the experiences of traveling, not luxury traveling, but nature loving kind of travel? And how do we also count them in the word of experiences, and we
Obviously.
look forward?
Obviously. Yes.
So running after them is not a good idea, is it?
Now, running after that is good in relationship to escaping the pollution of the city for purpose of health. But is that experience going to maybe it's a better context for you to have some quiet contemplation and work with your thoughts, etc. What I'm talking is fundamentally, is that experience going to add something, you know, add something to you, to the truth of yourself? No, that's what I'm talking about. So the context is here, the purpose of awakening to the true self, right?
Right.
Right. From that context, nature, artificial, plant, plastic, both are equally illusion. Both are equally meaningless.
Okay.
But for the point of health, that is why when it comes to action, when it comes to choice of action, whether to do this action or that action, from the point of view of wisdom, the right action and wrong action, both are equally illusion.
Mhm.
But at the level of action, one is always told to choose the right action over the wrong action. Why? Because when I choose what is right over what I like, so that is where the context of Karma Yoga comes. Choosing what is right over what I like, or not choosing based on what I like and don't like, but choosing based on an objective standard of whether this is healthy or not healthy, whether it is right or wrong. That gives me a context where I'm able to work with my likes and dislikes while in a dynamic situation where I'm busy with life. So I cannot
Right.
escape being busy with life. I am busy. But while being busy, if I am learning to be busy according to dharma, then I have a context where I'm able to look at my personal preferences. So I put dharma above my personal preference simply because it is dharma. Then it gives me a context for working with my likes and dislikes, where it is helping me to get, where I am able to tone down my egoistic involvement in the situation, and I am going according to the laws of nature or Ishwar. So we have to think like that. So in Karma Yoga gives a context of self purification, in the sense my subjective dimension is not given importance in a choice for action. So that's how it works. So if you're choosing nature over going to the mall, definitely it is more dharmic. It is going to, you might want to go for a movie, or you might want to sit and, scroll on your phone in Instagram. Said, no, let me go out and have a walk in the park. So that is definitely more dharmic than scrolling in Instagram. So you go and take a walk where you are able to use this healthy habit to overcome your involvement in the social media, which is the more unhealthy one compared to this. Did I answer your question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then the second
Same
question
logic we
is,
can extend for everything.
okay, same logic. Right. That means if we think that being passionate about something will change me or my personality, that is also an illusion.
Why do you want to change your personality?
Mm, maybe I don't like myself fully or I'm not comfortable with it.
See, I am only dealing with only one concept here. Okay, so the problem with this kind of short satsanga, when we have a retreat, I will be able to explore these things more deeply. But when we have a short satsanga, we are only discussing one, like one frame in a huge scheme of spiritual development, right? So we are only discussing one frame. So this one frame that we discussed today has to be understood in the context of so many other concepts and things that goes with it. So we develop understanding. We cannot come to a quick decision based on just one frame discussion.
Mm.
So we develop an understanding over a period of time. So again, I am, it's about my personality. So is it about, that is why I always say Dharma means action. When I say dharma, every time when I say dharma, I mean karma. That means your world of action. Okay, your life connected to different actions. What you need to do, what you don't have to do, do's and don'ts, right? That choice should always be based on objective standards that lie outside of your ego. Do's and don'ts is not about you, it's about dharma, like that. Like, for example, when you are in a teamwork, right? When you are in a teamwork, whatever we do, it's not about me, it's about the team, we say, right? So, in the same way, it is called Ishvara Pranidhana. It's called Bhakti, and in Karma Yoga, we have Bhakti, the Ishvara Pranidhana. When we say it is where we bring what is called in our traditional spirituality, it is called as Yajna. There is a word called Yajna. The word is sustained by Yajna, Bhagavad Gita says, right? Yajna is an attitude, they usually translate it as sacrifice, self-sacrifice. It is not sacrifice, it is giving less importance to your egoistic satisfaction and putting an objective standard of virtue above your egoistic satisfaction. That helps you to not reinforce the ego principle. So that is the point. With respect to individual cases, like should I pursue my passion? So pursuing the passion, it's because it is the more righteous thing, or is it because it's about you just it's only about you feeling good, or is there more objective standard attached to it that we have to only analyze in a case by case basis? Maybe if you discuss with me individually, I'll be able to throw more light on your specific case, which we cannot discuss in the class. But generally, this is the idea. The idea is do's and don'ts is based on an objective standard that is above me, not based only on my ego gratification. Ego gratification has to be accommodated within a larger framework of ethics or virtue. That's the basic spirit. So we have to, based on that, we have to interpret. Yeah.
To discuss with the
Thank
teacher,
you.
have one, right?
Sorry?
Good to discuss with the teacher if they have one for this kind of individual questions, like individuality, like about the pursuit. As you're saying, like this questions is like not one frame session. It has to be discussed in detail.
Yeah, so that is why I said, maybe they can, you have, all of you have my contact, just write to me.
Yeah.
Or just WhatsApp me and you can have a discussion with me separately.
I have one question. Very simple, kind of I mean, I should not say simple, sorry. It's kind of Deepavali. Deepavali, you started the subject with the Deepavali. So during Deepavali, there is this thing like oil bath, or you should wear the new clothes, fresh clothes, new clothes. So is it like, for example, today I called my mother and I was asking about this, and then she said, nothing I bought. Like I do it for the, like get it, like, don't just let it go. Like, it's okay, nothing special. You're not here. Like, okay, get fresh clothes, like new one, and then do it. But then I have no idea why to do it. But like, why this kind of things are there? Like, I don't know.
It's a cultural practice that keeps you in touch with the spirit of the tradition. That's it. Once, if you have already understood, you do it for the sake of sustaining, to do your part in sustaining the culture. If you have not understood, these practices, cultural practices, will keep you in touch with the tradition. One day, when you are ready to understand, you are still in touch with the tradition. That's it. That's how I see it. That's how I see it.
Exactly. So I didn't think, but I have listened from teachers. You also like for Sankhya, like that. You have mentioned this. Like there are few things.
Yeah, right. It depends on who. Depends on. So again, if a person is already very rooted in wisdom, even that person need not follow anything. It depends on the individual. It depends on the level of vairagya. Less vairagya, more regulations in life. More vairagya, less regulations in life. That's it.
Thank you so much.
Vairagya here means detachment. Because in Tamil, when you say vairagyam, they understand it as adamantly. No, pidivaram, not that.
Right.
Right. So we will finish the class. Happy Diwali, everybody. Next week we will not have the class. We will come in the following Monday. Right. So burst a lot of crackers. Make some noise. It's all right. The Diwali Hindu festival is not the time for ecological activism. It's because it's pushed only on Hinduism. We have to make it a point that we are making some real noise. So that is my thing. It's only simply because the reason is not because of Hindu, not Hindu. From the wisdom point of view, it does not matter. But this is the only culture where wisdom is available. This is the only tradition where the wisdom is available. And this sustains all the schools of wisdom that allows you to become free. And it is constantly being threatened. So we have to, as a social commitment, it's good to assert the identity, the Hindu identity. That's why I'm wearing all this and Shika and all that. Though it doesn't matter for wisdom anymore. So please burst crackers, at least 1 or 2 crackers, everybody, and enjoy Diwali. Thank you.
Thank you for saying that. Thank you.